The Tennessee Titans just said there will be a quarterback competition between Cam Ward and Will Levis. I'll tell you why that's utter nonsense and why Will Levis must be traded on today's edition of Locked On Titans.
You are Locked On Titans, your daily Tennessee Titans podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Titans podcast. I am your host, Tyler Rowland, Titans fans. Today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast is brought to you by Amazon Fire TV Stick 4K. Turn any TV into an Xbox, no console needed. Head to amazon.com/Fire TV Locked On to learn more. On today's episode, I'm going to go over everything that Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker had to say at their post-draft press conference, which included saying that Will Levis will be in a quarterback competition with Cam Ward. I'm going to tell you why that's utter nonsense, why I guarantee Will Levis is not on this roster by week one, why this furthers the Cam Ward disrespect that, quite frankly, might be the best thing for him. We'll also get some notes on some other draft prospects, Treylon Burks' future with the Tennessee Titans, and I'll explain to you guys why most of the rest of the NFL world is praising the Tennessee Titans draft class. Before we get into all of that, do want to thank you for making the Locked On Titans podcast your first listen each and every day. Remember, Monday through Friday, Tennessee Titans content all year round, always for free. Make sure that you get subscribed, stay subscribed. It's your team every day. Speaking of every day, shout out to my everydayers out there tuning in Monday through Friday. Couldn't do it without you guys. And the next two episodes, I'm going to look at short-term roles for the rookies. Then I'm going to look at long-term roles for the rookies. So make sure that you're locked in to Locked On Titans every single day. But with that being said, Mike Borgonzi is at the press conference. And he says, we did not try to trade Will Levis during the draft. Will Levis adds great competition to our quarterback room. They said, we're not naming any starters right now. And I just want to sit here and say, I am not frustrated at the Tennessee Titans for saying that. Okay, the Tennessee Titans should be saying that. They should be hyping up Will Levis at every opportunity. So I do not expect Mike Borgonzi to come out there and say, yeah, we're done with Will Levis. We'll probably move off of him at some point. Cam Ward's our quarterback of the future. He's going to be the starter. So we're done with Will Levis, and that's just what it is. That would be the dumbest way to handle it. Now, on the other side of that, I will say, utter nonsense. There is no quarterback competition between Cam Ward and Will Levis. It's absolutely not what's happening. There is no world where Will Levis is starting over a healthy Cam Ward. There is no way that would happen. I'm sorry. I refuse to acknowledge that. The Tennessee Titans rolled out the red carpet for Cam Ward. They literally got Warren Moon to come and give him his retired jersey number. And you're telling me that they're going to have a true competition between him and Will Levis, and competition makes the whole roster better. I do agree with that philosophy, but that's not how it works at quarterback. And again, I guarantee, and I'm willing to stand on this, I guarantee that barring Cam Ward getting a serious injury, which knock on wood, but I guarantee that Will Levis is not on this roster week one. I guarantee it. There's no way. It makes no sense. It's so dumb. Will Levis is a guy who has been in this locker room for 2 years, has relationships with a lot of these dudes. You think that Will Levis is going to come in and be like, yeah, I'm the backup now. It's Cam Ward's job. Will Levis even talked about before last season how taking his leadership to the next level, feeling like he is the quarterback of the team and not behind Ryan Tannehill's shadow, and how that's the next step in his development as a player and all of that. You think he's just going to stop? And what about when Will Levis tells a guy, hey, man, I want you at this depth on this route. And Cam Ward goes out and says, actually, I would prefer you there. What does the wide receiver do? What does the coach do? It's just awkward, man. I feel like some people think this is Madden. and there's no locker room, and you just go out there, and why can't Will Levis be third on the depth chart the entire season while I have Cam Ward? Why not? You know what I mean? But that's not how it works in real life, in the locker room with real people. The politics of human beings and how it works. You want to set up Cam Ward for success to lead this franchise and empower him. Cam Ward is on the phone with the general manager while they're making picks, asking them, hey, who are you picking? What's their phone number? It'd just be so awkward, so weird, so divisive, so strange, confusing to have Will Levis in the locker room with Cam Ward long term. It just makes no sense whatsoever. So, in my opinion, the reason that Mike Borgonzi said what he said is because he's not going to deflate Will Levis's value. And you can laugh and say Will Levis has no value, but you can get a conditional 7th-round pick out of Will Levis right now. Hey, if he plays this many snaps, it's a 7th-round pick in 2027. You could do that right now if you wanted to just give him away. But what you do is you continue to say, we believe in Will Levis. We think he could still develop into an NFL starter. It's a quarterback competition. He's going to push Cam Ward. We think he's worthy of that opportunity. And then when a quarterback gets hurt in training camp, then when, Derek Carr injury, when, Aaron Rodgers smoked ayahuasca in a dark room for 2 weeks and said he's retiring and doesn't want to play at Pittsburgh, you never know what could happen. So don't, throw your hand away if you're checking to see the flop. There's no reason to fold early. So I'm saying two things are true at once. This is the smart thing for the Titans to say, but also at the same time, we know it's absolute nonsense because you cannot have Cam Ward and Will Levis in the same locker room at the same time. It's just so stupid, so silly, so juvenile, and it creates so many little issues that are completely avoidable. It would be stubborn. It would be pointless. And when you go after Cam Ward as hard as the Tennessee Titans have this offseason, and again, they brought Warren Moon to his opening press conference to unretire his number and give him the jersey. This is not an open competition with Will Levis. And you don't put your rookie quarterback in that kind of position. You want Brandon Allen and Tim Boyle in that room with him to support him, to help him learn how to watch film, to help him show him what to look for, defenses, what tips you off, how you're going to play these things, teach him the playbook. You don't want Will Levis in there grinding every single second to try to ruin Cam Ward's career. That's what Will Levis's goal would be, is to ruin Cam Ward's career. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play so great that I'm going to be better than that Cam Ward guy. I'm going to make him look bad, and I'm going to keep this job. Like, Will Levis's entire goal would be to ruin Cam Ward's career and steal his job back. You can't have those competing interests at the same time in the locker room. And quite frankly, the Titans had to say it, but this kind of silly. The Bears didn't say it was an open competition. The Bengals didn't say it was an open competition. Like, it just continues a little bit of Cam Ward disrespect, and that's mostly from the media and from the outside sources. I do got to commend Kyle Brandt from Good Morning Football. He kind of went on a rant about how, what, are they going to, shut the show off if I talk about Cam Ward? His journey from a no-star recruit all the way to a 5-star, all the way to the number 1 pick in the draft and, to the Titans, it's just incredible. And the fact that his story and his moment, listen, we can talk about Titans fans getting disrespected and nobody cares about the Titans and covers the Titans. And that's 100% why Cam Ward didn't get the moment that he deserved. But it's not about Titans fans and the Titans. It's about Cam Ward. But I will say this. The disrespect, open quarterback competition, blah, 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 blah. Oh, Cam Ward was drafted. Shedeur Sanders, though, all of this, literally the best thing that could ever happen. It's the best thing that could ever happen for Cam Ward. How can you, as a number 1 overall pick, have a chip on your shoulder? Just like this. Stay motivated. You went number 1 and they still didn't care about you. You're still a 0-star recruit to them. Stay motivated. Feed off that. Live off that. Okay? Come out of the shadows. Okay, you don't want to put the spotlight on me? Sure, put it on the 5th rounder. Sure, do that. I'm going to work over here in silence, just like I always have. When everyone else is talking and making rap songs, guess what I'm doing? Playing football. So, from the Titans' perspective, less media drama, less attention. Sure, we'll work in the background. From Cam Ward's perspective, okay, I'm the most disrespected number 1 overall pick of all time. And I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do about it. Can't wait. So it might be the best thing that ever happened. With that being said, though, we got a lot more information at the post-draft press conference. Today's episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, entertainment, it's easy to lose track, but that's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, spending in one place. Stop just managing your money and start building wealth. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much money I was spending on online shopping, and now I can budget smarter, I can save more, and instead of juggling multiple apps, everything is right there with Monarch Money. It's easy to set goals, stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. Titans fans, let's continue today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast, breaking down the post-draft press conference and some of the tentacles, coming out of it. We talked about Cam Ward, the Will Levis thing. Will Levis is not going to be on this roster week one. I'm willing to be wrong. I'm willing to stand on business. That is my take. Fight me. I don't care. It doesn't make any sense at all. The sooner that he's gone, the better for everybody. Better for him, better for Cam, better for the Titans, better for the fans. Period. Okay? But with that being said, in the Cam Ward, Will Levis conversation behind us, we got a lot more tidbits from Mike Borgonzi and Chad Brinker at the post-draft press conference that they did on Monday. And it starts with information on Treylon Burks. Now, this is breaking news to absolutely nobody, but it's being said out loud, so it's worth discussing. Chad Brinker was asked about Treylon Burks and his progress, and also his fifth-year option. So, if you're unaware, when you draft someone in the first round, this is something only first-round picks have, you get a fifth-year option after the first 4 years of their contract. So, you get the first 4 years at a certain rate, and then a fifth-year option, which is a one-year deal, but the pay goes up quite a bit. You're making like $9 million, you're going to get $20 million. Because it's saying, hey, if we're using our fifth year on a first rounder, it must be a good player. They probably deserve to be paid. Now, what most teams do when you have a good player is they work out a contract extension so that the player never plays on the fifth-year option. A player that good, that young, set to get paid, doesn't want to play on a one-year deal where if they get hurt, they can't get money the next year. You know what I mean? And sometimes teams do the fifth-year option, and then they franchise tag to keep that one-year thing on it. It's all about what level of play you are and what kind of power that you have. But regardless, the Titans aren't picking up Treylon Burks' fifth-year option. They ain't doing it. And Chad Brinker said that Treylon Burks is rehabbing right now, which is what we heard from Brian Callahan recently, that he probably won't be ready for training camp, but maybe week one. So he's rehabbing. And then to the fifth-year option, or the Titans going to pick it up, he said, we're not making any decisions today, but probably not. Probably not. Okay. So I think he was comfortable saying that. I think he was willing to say that. Guys, Treylon Burks, because of the injury, may have to stick on the Titans roster. He's going to be on PUP when training camp starts. I would just be shocked if Treylon Burks got real reps this year. I just think they're why would we give any more opportunity to Treylon Burks when we could give that to Xavier Restrepo? We could give that to Chim DK. We could give that to Alec Iomanner. Why would we give any opportunities to Treylon Burks? That's over. It's over. So it's his last year with the Titans on contract. Trade him for anything if you can. It's $4.5 million on the salary cap, but it's already there. There's nothing you can do about it. It's the last bit of guaranteed money from Treylon Burks' rookie contract. You've made all your moves. You like, that's sunk money anyway. You can't save anything. You can't do it. Just cut Treylon Burks. Just cut him as soon as it's legally possible. As soon as he's off PUP or whatever, just cut him. Just get him off the team. I'm not wasting I would rather have Bryce Oliver on this roster than Treylon Burks. Like, even if he goes somewhere and does okay, that's fine. It's time for him to go. We need to wash our hands of this crazy era of Titans mistakes in the draft. Just let them all go. Levis, Burks, let them all go. Anyways, with that being said, some of the draftees that the Titans brought in were spoken about here. They talked about Kevin Winston. Mike Borgonzi said that before the injury, they had Kevin Winston as an early second-round pick. Early second round. Like, in the top tier of safeties. Kevin Winston was in the top tier of safeties in this draft class. So to get him at 82, they said it was absolutely fantastic. Said they were very fortunate was the word that was used in the process. Also, the Titans talked about Jackson Slater and saying that he has the versatility to play at right guard. He has the versatility to play at center, basically confirming what we heard before. They talked about Chim DK, and they said that immediately out of the gate, he's going to get opportunities at return. Like, that's a thing. And when I talked about the draft pick, I said, it's a wide receiver, which everybody wanted anyway. They took a wide receiver. Incredible speed, one of the fastest guys in the draft, and he's fast on tape too, 4.3 speed. And he gives the Titans return ability. And what I believe it was Chad Brinker said, Mike Borgonzi, Chad Brinker, who said what, but one of them said that the good thing about DK is he just goes forward after he catches the ball. Like, as a returner, he catches the ball and he goes forward. And that's super important for just a baseline. And then you add in the speed, it gives you a high level of opportunity. And speaking of speed, he talked about that. They said one of the big things that stood out to me during the press conference is they very openly talked about their draft philosophy, what kind of guys they're looking for. Chad Brinker even said, like, there may come a time where you guys can figure out who we're interested in and who we might pick based on what's obvious. They want size, they want speed, they want power, they want character. Like, they talked about it. I mean, they said it openly. It was pretty cool. Chad Brinker's exact quotes were, big, fast, tough football players that love winning more than anything else. So again, I have talked over the last 2 months about the Tennessee Titans wanting to be bigger, wanting to be more physical. The Tennessee Titans wanting to be bigger at edge, more physical at edge. The Tennessee Titans wanting bigger bodied tackles with great length. The Titans wanted bigger body interior offensive line. No more, I literally said this over the draft, no more $2 steaks like Aaron Brewer. Like, even if you're a good player, if you're too small, you're too small. We do not want you. That's just what it is. We're not having 6'2", 300-pound interior offensive linemen. 6'3", no. We want 6'4", 6'5". We want 315 at a minimum. 315, 320 minimum for interior offensive linemen. Our OTs, we're looking at 325 to 345. We want bigger, more powerful people. So I really enjoyed the post-draft press conference with Chad Brinker and Mike Borgonzi. I thought they had a lot of interesting things to say. They talked about the speed as well. They talked about Io Manor, saying, he's a big guy, contested catchability, all of that. So a lot of the things that we talked about, speed, size, breaking down some of these draft picks and what they bring to the table for the Tennessee Titans, they're just confirming them in the press conference that those were indeed the things that they were looking for, the versatility, the athleticism, the size. I mean, Io Manor is a 4'4" guy. DK is a 4'3" guy. They said that they really focused on speed when they got to the wide receivers in the middle of the draft. So, I mean, it's all the stuff that we wanted them to do, all the boxes we wanted them to check. Bigger, stronger, faster, more speed, more athleticism, more juice on a roster that desperately needed it. Wide receiver, edge rusher, quarterback, safety, offensive line, tight end. I thought they did a great job. And look, I'm not the only person that thinks they did a great job. And it's kind of crazy to me that there are more people on the outside of the Titans world than on the inside that seem to be in love with this draft. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. The NBA playoffs are here. It's been a great NBA playoffs, even though my Lakers are losing bad. It's over. And FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props, from three-pointers to steals to assists. FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. I would take Julius Randle over on the points in the next game against the Lakers. But even after games tip off, you can combine live prop bets together into a same-game parlay for a chance to win big. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets today. Once again, that's FanDuel.com. Titans fans, let's cap off today's edition of the Locked On Titans podcast. We talked about the Cam Ward, Will Levis, quote-unquote, competition, and I guarantee that Will Levis will be off this roster by week 1. He's not making the 53-man roster. He won't be on it. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe it. But anyways, moving right along. We talked about all the different little nuggets that came out of the post-draft press conference, like Treylon Burks' option and some of the stuff on the rookies that they brought in. But now I want to talk about how the view of the Tennessee Titans draft outside of the Titans ecosystem seems to be much more favorable than what some Titans fans are saying. Now, look, I am not going to sit here and say that the majority of Titans fans don't like the draft. I don't think that that's true. I think that most Titans fans do like the draft. But there's a big swath of people who I think are being pretty negative about it and don't like the draft. And I just find it so interesting. Like, Mel Kiper gave the Tennessee Titans a B+. It was in like the top, 10 or 12 grades that Mel Kiper gave out. And that's what the Browns going to get an A+ because he's been freaking out about Shedeur Sanders the whole time. But he even said, getting the QB was the easy part. The roster lacked legitimate pass catchers. It's not for lack of trying. The Titans drafted 6 wide receivers in the past 4 drafts. They took Chim DK at number 103. A pick I really liked at the position is Alec Iomanor, or Iomanor, whatever. Can never figure it out. 79th on my board. So Mel Kiper thought the Titans draft was pretty good, and that was the lowest grade out of all of the grades that I saw. Dane Brugler, who does a great job for The Athletic, the beast, is absolutely fantastic. He had the Titans with the 8th best draft class in the entire draft. The 8th best draft class in the entire draft. His favorite pick was Cam Ward. His day 3 pick who could surprise was Gunnar Helm. He said Tennessee needs to address its offense early on day 3, and did exactly that by taking 3 pass catchers in round 4. Helm might not wow with his size or speed, but he can wiggle free from coverage and finish at the catch point. With Chikakonkwo going into a final year of his rookie deal, the Titans will give Helm plenty of opportunity as a rookie to see what they have. Agree 100%. I think Gunnar Helm might be the second most productive rookie for the Tennessee Titans in the rookie season, in their rookie season in 2025. I'm going to go over short-term roles for all the rookies tomorrow, and then the next day go over long-term roles for the rookies. So we got a good idea of what they can be in 2025 and then what they could be going forward. But again, top 8 draft class, according to Dane Brugler. You go to Pro Football Focus, who does theirs as a group. They gave the Titans an A, and they only had 8 teams that had an A or an A+. So the Titans, by default, are in the top 8 once again. So they even say here, Femi Oladipo. Oladipo started his college career as an off-ball linebacker before moving to edge. He remains raw, inexperienced pass rusher. He impressed at the Senior Bowl with athleticism, athleticism, length, and explosiveness. He has to further develop as a pass rusher, but his solid effort against the run will provide a solid floor. Again, Femi is a high upside player, but he still has a very solid floor and solid football character. So top 8 draft grade right there from Pro Football Focus. You want to go to Bleacher Report's staff. I think the dude's name is Christopher Knox or something like that. But he has the Titans with an A. There we go again. Like, you want another one. Bruce Feldman had a bunch of the Titans draft picks in like his best picks of the draft. So I don't care where you look, where you turn, you're going to be able to find a little bit of everything. Like, you're going to find somebody out there who has the Titans with a bad draft grade. Somebody out there certainly does. But I mean, I'm looking all over the place, and all of these outlets are like, the Tennessee Titans had one of the best draft classes. Cam Ward was a great pick. Love the upside of Femi Oladejo after he dominated at the Senior Bowl and, is high upside. Kevin Winston, the Titans are saying he would have been an early second round. If you're an early second round option, that means you might be a first round option. So they're basically telling you that Kevin Winston might have been a first round talent if he was able to play out the entire season, because just off his previous year, he was already an early second rounder. So the Titans feel like they got a first round safety. This is a great draft. Again, I gave the draft class a B+ for 2025, but an A- for after that. To set the foundation the way that they did, high upside but high floor on Winston and Oladejo, addressing the needs but doing it at value. High character guys who can set the culture and help Cam Ward. Cam Ward's calling all the picks as they're happening. I mean, literally, I forget which guy it was. I think it was Io Manor. He said he was on the phone with the Titans and Cam Ward was calling him. Something special is brewing, folks. Something special is brewing. And I just want the record to show that I like this draft, even if it's not going to be, hey, we're getting 8 superstars out of this one. This is going to be the draft that kind of sets the base standard for, hey, we got a talented team with good character, with dudes who love football and are going to work their butts off to win. And that you can add in some of the spicier ingredients as you get down the line, but laying down a nice base right now, we're putting the mashed potatoes on the plate. We'll come later with the gravy. All right, we'll get the gravy later. Or we're doing loaded mashed potatoes. I'm recording right before dinner. Can you guys tell? Mashed potatoes. That's what we're laying down right now. Nice heaping serving of mashed potatoes. We'll add the cheese and the bacon bits and the chives later, my friends. And while we're here, it's minute 28. Baked potato. Cover it with a little bit of neutral oil and cracked salt. Bake it in the oven at 400, uncovered for an hour. You got to poke holes with a fork in it at the top. All right. Let it sit for 10 minutes. Slice it down the middle. Pinch it on the outside so it creates kind of a ball. You know what I mean? Then you use a spoon and you kind of chop it up. You kind of cut it up a little bit. Get it detached. And then you pour a bunch of melted butter in there with salt and pepper, and then you stir it all up. Then you throw in your ingredients. Just had to take a moment. Trust me. I know my grub, as you guys like to tell me all the time. But with that being said, that is going to do it for me today, folks. Again, tomorrow we'll look at short-term roles for the rookies. Next day we look at long-term roles for the rookies. Might do a mailbag to finish off the week. Might not, though. Don't hold me to it. I'll let you guys know on social media and on tomorrow's show for sure. But that's going to do it for me today, folks. As always, I am your host, Tyler Rowland, and this was Locked On Titans.